welcome to Take Me Out, the ultimate podcast about ballparks and the baseball experience. It's August 15th, 2025. I'm Alexandra Ellis, and I'm joining my friend, Timothy Malcolm.
What's up, baseball fans? It is another episode of Take Me Out. I am Tim, and that is Alex. And how are you? I know you've had a rough week, but you went to Seattle recently. We're going to talk about that in this episode. I will talk about a trip to Arlington, Texas to see the Rangers. But how are you doing? It's been a long week for you.
It's been a very long week. I was one of the last few COVID holdouts. I finally got COVID, and I'm
in the world.
In the world. There are dozens of us, but I think I maybe have got it from the Mariners game. I don't know, because I know I started feeling really off that Thursday night, and I went to the game Tuesday night. But it was I'm finally over it. I tested positive for the first time Friday, and then I took 3 negative tests yesterday after 5 days of taking Paxlovid, which is a miracle drug that also leaves you with a taste of just dissolved pills in your mouth. It is a miracle drug, but waking up in the middle of the night and just practically drinking mouthwash, I don't recommend it. I feel so much better. My energy is still questionable right now, but I mean, compared to 5 days ago, I'm a different person. So I'm a lot better. I am rested, and I'm ready to get back to it, dude.
You know, if it's COVID, Paxlovid.
Paxlovid, exactly.
That's what they say.
Yeah, is that what they say?
That's what
okay,
they say.
Good to know.
On the commercials, there's many.
Okay.
I'm glad you're doing better.
Yeah.
It's a rough go of it. I don't know whether I've ever had COVID. I'm not even sure. It's been a weird life.
Past 5 years is like about 12 lifetimes. It's just
these 5 years have been
No,
really
it's like it feels like the 90s were 10 years ago still. It's just so weird. I don't know. 2000 was yesterday, you know.
That's right. That's right. I'm glad you're on this podcast talking about how great ballparks are.
Yeah.
But you maybe got COVID at a ballpark, so
I don't know.
Don't go to ballparks? No, I don't know. I will say off the top, before we get into news and all that stuff, and we'll get into the whole banter. I've heard a lot more about COVID going around in the past few months. I've had a coworker who came down with COVID. I know of other people besides you who've had COVID. It seems like it has returned in a not so small way. No. It's not anything like it was in 2020, 2021, but it is still around, and it'll probably always still be around.
And it's also back to school now. It's
back to school.
Yeah, explode because
my kids went back this week. So I mean, I haven't heard anything about kids contracting anything ahead of school. So I think we're in a safe zone right now, I think. But yeah, kids going back to school just means sickness. And I mean, we're out of the age where hand, foot and mouth, or hand, mouth, or whatever the heck it's called. That disease is a thing. Like that's a big thing for like nursery school age kids into preschool, hand, foot and mouth disease. And if a kid gets that, it's like game over for a week. It's like even for the parents, it's like, because we're going to get it too and whatever. And like parents with hand, foot and mouth is terrible. But nevertheless, yes, sickness aside, COVID is going around a lot more. So if you're going to ballparks, and you're a little bit nervous or whatever, wear a mask. If you're a mask person, just put a mask on, and don't let anybody like smirk at you. Don't let anybody like get to you because you're wearing a mask and you're trying to be safe for yourself.
Exactly.
You're do what you
yourself
want to do.
And other people. You're going to protect other people. It's just like, hi, I'm not a jerk. And if you if you want to make fun of me, then I'm so sorry that you can't mind your own business.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. People stink sometimes, but try to be a good person, and it'll all work out. So thank you for hanging with us this week. Of course, this is a podcast where we talk about ballparks and the baseball experience. It is the official, it's not official, but it is the undisputed podcast about ballparks and the baseball experience. It is the one. So if you are somebody who's trying to go to all the ballparks, you have a bucket list, I'm trying to hit them all, or maybe you know somebody who's trying to do that, going to all the ballparks at some point in their life, tell them about our podcast. Find our podcast, Take Me Out. We are everywhere podcasts are. And because, the reason we have this podcast, because I have a book. It's called Baseball Road Trips.
I got mine.
I have a copy. I have many copies, and I'll be giving them to fans of this podcast if you sign up to our Patreon. We'll get there in a second. You also have a copy. It is a great book. It is, it's the definitive book about ballparks and what to do at the ballparks, what to do around the ballparks, in the cities where the ballparks are. If you're going on a trip to any ballpark in the country, major league and some minor league, that is the book that you want. You can find it anywhere. You can just look it up on Google, Baseball Road Trips, Timothy Malcolm. There it is. You can find it and buy it. So that's the book. This is the podcast. Take Me Out. Tell your friends and family members about it. We will go in this podcast episode to Arlington to talk about a Rangers game that I went to recently. We're going to go to Seattle, to T-Mobile Park to talk about a Mariners game that Alex went to recently and got COVID at, apparently. And we will also go through ballpark news.
Right there.
That's the bonus. You never know what you're going to get at a baseball game, you know?
Foul ball, COVID, who knows?
We'll also go through ballpark news, including more about Brewers' rain issues last week. I don't know if you've heard about that. Yeah. Wrigley Field has some roof issues. I'll tell you what that means. And there's a new statue in Arlington at Globe Life. We'll talk about that as well. But first, Alex, of course, like I mentioned, this podcast, we can't do it without listeners. We can't do it without supporters. So why don't you just do the plugs, talk about where our podcast is and how people who are listening now can help us get the word out.
Plugs. Let's do plugs. You can find Take Me Out on Instagram, instagram.com/ or at Take Me Out Pod. Probably saw a few of my stories if you follow us from there, my trip in Seattle. But we're also on Facebook at Take Me Out Pod. We're also on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. YouTube.com/Take Me Out Pod. And if you're not watching us, you're probably listening to us either on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Take Me Out Pod. While you're on these podcast hosting platforms, if you do us a massive favor, 5-star review. We would greatly appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, share. And then, of course, we're also on Patreon. Patreon.com/Take Me Out. Right. Leave out the pod. Just Take Me Out. Tim, why don't you tell them about our Patreon?
Yeah, the Patreon is going to have special content. We have some special content up now. The special content will be ballpark guides, city guides, and reviews. We're also going to do some fun things, Alex and I, along the way. But we need people to sign up and be part of it.
Yeah.
There are 2 levels to the Patreon, 2 tiers, I should say. The cheapest tier is the loge level. You know, if you're at a ballpark and you go to the loge level, you're going upstairs. It's a cheaper seat typically. Mm-hmm. This is a $3 a month tier. So if you pay that money, you're getting in the loge. There is also the field tier. The field level is the concourse level, the first level, the 100 level, essentially. You pay $5 a month for that, and that is what you get. So both of those tiers will get special episodes of Take Me Out. But if you go into the field level, which is the $5 a month, you will get special things from us that are not just episodes. You will get a signed copy of this book, Baseball Road Trips. I don't know if I've revealed that, but it's on the Patreon. You will get a signed copy of this book if you sign up on the field level tier. There's also a couple other things that we will potentially do. I'll tell you, like, there are some really cool things that I want to do for the Patreon if we get supporters. I am an artist, a decent artist. I can draw, I can, paint, I can do those things. I have always loved making baseball cards, and so I will make baseball cards for our fans of Take Me Out.
Oh, I love that.
I'm serious. I will make drawings, paintings, something like that of ballparks, their favorite ballpark.
Oh, that's so cool.
Because that is something that I did when I was a kid. There's other things that I really want to do for the Patreon. So if you want to sign up for the Patreon and get original stuff from me, who knows? It could sell for thousands upon thousands of dollars someday when I get really famous.
Oh, man.
But yeah. Or you can just have it in your home and really enjoy it. But sign up for the Patreon, the loge level $3 a month, the field level $5 a month, and you'll get the episodes. We have Citizens Bank Park up there, Philadelphia City Review. There's going to be more coming, including Arlington, which I will do when I talk about Globe Life Field and how I feel about it 5 years into the existence of Globe Life. Plenty more will come onto the Patreon, but sign up, patreon.com/Take Me Out. Let's go to the ballpark news.
Let's do it. So, as you mentioned before, the Brewers in American Family Field suffer under heavy rain.
This happened last week, basically, as we're hearing this, probably. August 9th, Saturday in Milwaukee, there were heavy rains in the forecast, and it impacted what was going on inside the American Family Field. The Brewers were playing the Mets. Pretty, important series there between those two teams. The Brewers, the top team in baseball. It's amazing what has happened this year in baseball. We've had this very funny year where early on the Yankees were really, really good. The Dodgers were really, really good. You were like, okay, these two teams again. And then, the Yankees kind of fell off, and they've been falling off pretty hard recently.
Hate to see it.
I know. Yeah, whatever. The Mets got really good for a while and were out in front of the East and in front of the National League, essentially. Then the Tigers kind of came out of nowhere and got in front of the American League. And they've kind of cooled off a little bit. The Mets have cooled off considerably. The Phillies came up and are now back in front in the NL East. But the Brewers have really taken over in the National League. So Mets and Brewers, important series at American Family. the rain was really hard and heavy, and some of it actually leaked through the roof of American Family Field. So there's actually videos of the rain just coming through the roof, and they're still playing the baseball game. After the game, the rains were still falling and areas were still pretty heavy. People were able to get out of the ballpark area, but there were videos taken, I guess, by members of the media who were staying later because they were reporting and all that stuff, writing their stories, filing. They took video of cars that were submerged in water around American Family Field. So some parts of the parking lot areas around American Family were flooded enough to basically total cars. And so Sunday morning, August 10th, some areas were not drivable. The roads were still closed. There were still, flood areas of pockets in the Milwaukee area there. But they decided to go on as advertised with the Sunday afternoon game between the Brewers and the Mets. The funny thing is the Brewers, they won 7-4 on Saturday. They came back and won 7-6 on Sunday. Very big series for the Brewers. It just feels like they're peaking right now at this moment. But the rains were insane. And the kind of things that you saw in Milwaukee last weekend are basically like the only cities that get that kind of rain are like Houston.
Yeah. I've seen it before. I've been
maybe parts of Florida, but yeah, it's crazy.
I have a picture of me somewhere for about 6 or 7 years ago. I was in the outfield, and this is obviously when it was still Minute Maid Park, and I have an umbrella, and it's still raining on me. I have been to a few games where it rains inside at Minute Maid. I don't know when the last time they did the roof, but it's, man, Milwaukee fans, I agree. I don't agree, but like I sympathize because we've been there. I mean, especially here in Houston. And I remember when we had the derecho last year when that massive storm came out of nowhere. And I remember seeing videos of people clearing out the center field because the wind was blowing the rain inside. And it's just like, what's the point of having a roof if it's not going to repair it, And I know that there's a lot of talk of repairing the roof at Daikin, and I guess there needs to be talks about repairing the roof at American Family.
Yeah, you don't expect those kinds of weather events to happen in Milwaukee and places like that, especially because the history of it is not there. But Houston, obviously, yes. I mean, I've had a car totaled by floodwater that I drove into by accident. I mean, it's kind of like part of life here in Houston.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
A rite of passage.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens there with American Family and their roof, but they already had a bunch of improvements this season to the ballpark. And I believe the Brewers did they extend their lease? I believe they're going to be at American Family for the next 30 plus years. And there were talks, and they're still ongoing, I imagine, about the Brewers potentially getting an entertainment district type thing around the ballpark, something outside of the ballpark. So all signs point to them staying at American Family for the next couple decades, which means, roof improvements, all that kind of stuff will have to happen for sure. But crazy stuff, stuff over in Milwaukee.
Picturing right now, like with it raining inside there, I'm picturing the slide being turned into a water slide.
Yeah, I mean, Bernie Brewer could have a real fun time there on that slide.
Just go down there in a pair of swim trunks. That'd be kind of funny.
Bernie and swim trunks
on your misfortunes. It's great.
They should have done that for Sunday afternoon's game. Have Bernie just like go down to his skivvies and like do a slip and slide kind of a deal.
Brewers marketing fans, just get in touch with us. We get some ideas for y'all.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, not far from there, the Cubs in court over rooftop seat sales near Wrigley Field.
Really interesting story out of Chicago. There's current litigation happening between the Cubs and a business called Wrigley View Rooftop. Mm-hmm. Wrigley View Rooftop is one of these businesses that is outside of Wrigley Field, and they own property out, all in Waveland, and they apparently are trying to sell rooftop seats.
I saw that a few weeks ago.
And basically people can, stay on the rooftop and look down onto Wrigley Field from their vantage point. But the Cubs have contracts in place with the rooftop vendors that are officially around Wrigley. There's a bunch of them, right? And you'll see the people on the rooftops. They sell like $1,000 plus per game for people to be on the rooftop. The Cubs, I think, have some sort of agreement contractually with those places, those businesses. But Wrigley View Rooftop apparently does not. And so per court documents, the Cubs are contending that Wrigley View Rooftop is illegally trying to profit by selling those rooftop seats. And the address there is 1050 Waveland Avenue. And so Yeah, it's funny that, there's businesses that get to do this in this one part of Major League Baseball. This is the one ballpark where you kind of have this situation. But, the question now becomes like, who gets to have this opportunity? Do you have to sort of get into an agreement with the Cubs? Can you do it on your own? Wrigley Field Rooftop is arguing, well, the customers only see, quote, sites. They don't advertise seeing the ball game, although the business is Wrigley Field Rooftop. Now,
man, that's
the neighborhood. Yeah. The neighborhood is Wrigleyville, so you could just say it's the neighborhood Wrigley, and it's a view. You're seeing a view from the rooftop, and you're seeing, quote, sites of which games happen to be a part of, obviously. And they are also arguing, Wrigley Field Rooftop, that they're never stopping folks from actually going to see games at Wrigley. So they're not saying like, you should do this instead of going to the game, and that it's completely in their bounds to sell rooftop seats. They're citing an 1886 court ruling by the Michigan Supreme Court that allowed a barn neighboring Detroit's old recreation park to sell tickets to folks to watch games from the barn. So basically the story of this was some guy had a barn outside of what became Recreation Park, a ballpark for the then Detroit Wolverines. This is before the Tigers, right? The Wolverines obviously wanted everybody to come to the ballpark, and this guy at the barn next door was like, I'm not selling, I'm not leaving. Like, I want to have my place. You're a nuisance. They were already kind of clashing. So this guy was like, I'm going to profit off of the issue that I have next to me. And he decided to, so the Wolverines put up a 9-foot fence around the ballpark, that blocked the view of the barn to the ballpark. The guy at the barn decided to put up a seating section in his barn that was higher than 9 feet so that people could buy a ticket to his barn and go up and sit up the top there. He made food or whatever and had drinks, and people could sit up there and watch the game from their seat because they could see over the fence.
It's a petty
So this guy was selling. Yeah. So this guy was selling tickets to every game for his barn seats, and a Michigan court ruled that was okay because, this guy was well in his rights to do whatever he wanted to in his property, and the Wolverines couldn't restrict him from that. And so it's a very interesting case, and that is what is informing Wrigley Field Rooftop in their case right now, saying, we just happen to have a building here. We didn't build the building. It is here. It has been here.
Mm-hmm.
We have this rooftop. It is not illegal to be on the rooftop. We can sell tickets to the rooftop, and people just can look out from the rooftop and, there's a baseball game happening while you're up here.
Yeah,
Watch the baseball game too.
Overlooking Lake Michigan. It's a wonderful view up here, and there just happens to be a baseball game going on.
Yeah, so I'm not against the ingenuity of businesses to want to do this kind of thing, and certainly knowing how much money it costs to do these kinds of experiences in ballparks like the Wrigley Rooftops, and how much Major League Baseball, the Cubs, and whoever else is trying to incentivize this as much as possible for themselves. I am not against a small business. I mean, they're not a small business. I mean, they're probably, investors or whatever. But I'm not against people saying, hey, I'm going to sell my own thing and do my own thing, especially if the property has been there. At the same time, it's a little shisty.
Yeah, I can see both sides of it, but yeah.
They should come to an agreement. They should they should come to an agreement out of court where, they allow ticket sales to this rooftop, but they have to pay some sort of a percentage to the Cubs for the right to sort of, because if you think about it, you can't disseminate. Remember, every Major League Baseball game has the message, it is illegal to disseminate.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't record or disseminate this information. Major League Baseball, da da da. I should know the actual text by now. I've been watching baseball games my entire life, 40 years. But in that same vein, you shouldn't be able to sell viewing tickets to a baseball game if it's if you're a second or third party who is not the ballpark, right? That also is shiesty in the same way. I'm open to free marketplace and all that, but there's got to be some regulation within it because
Major League Baseball.
Yeah, because the ticket sales, you think about the ticket sales don't just go to feeding the owners. I mean, it goes a lot to feeding the owners, but it goes to feeding the payroll of the roster. It goes to feeding the payroll of the people who work at Wrigley Field. All these other people get some of that ticket sale money. So it's kind of unfair that somebody else is doing on the outside and profiting it for themselves. So there should be a percentage cut that goes back to the Cubs.
I think that would be the right
choice. If they could
choice.
come to an agreement on that, just do that, and then you're good. You could be part of the rooftop world there.
Yeah. I think, I mean, it's a good idea. Just add a little fee to the ticket or something like that. I mean, I can see that happening. I think that'd be the most reasonable outcome. We'll see. You know, we don't live in the most reasonable world right now, but I hope both sides can come to an agreement because Cubs games are a lot of fun. Wrigley is a great place. I love Wrigleyville, and I think everyone should be able to enjoy themselves equally there.
That is the right.
Yes. All right, down to Arlington.
I was just at Globe Life. We'll talk about that in a few moments here. I did not get to see this, but there are a couple statues there at Globe Life, 3 in fact around the park. A 4th one is coming, and it will be Adrian Beltre, who is a now Major League Hall of Famer. He was put in the Hall of Fame. Was it last year he was inducted? Or 2 years ago?
It's very recent. I know I want to say it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I should know it. I should know when this happened. But yeah, Adrian Beltre is in the Hall of Fame. And he'll be joining the statues of Ivan Rodriguez, Nolan Ryan, and the celebration after the 2010 American League pennant win for the Rangers. You know, celebrate your wins. So the statue's made by an artist named Mike Tabor. It's probably Tabor, of Granbury, Texas. He did it over 73 days, which doesn't seem like a lot of time to do a statue. But apparently it took him 73 days to do it. Apparently he got the call with 75 days to go before it had to be done.
Oh my God. Okay.
Which doesn't seem like a lot of time.
No.
But maybe it's fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
He did it in 73 days. Beltre actually chose the pose that he wanted for the statue. We don't know. We haven't seen the statue. Beltre and his family have seen the clay of the statue. They haven't seen the bronze version. It's now in bronze. I mean, it was in bronze. It might be done now, and it'll probably be shipped over. You know, it's probably shipped over now.
Right.
Nevertheless, we know that the pose is Beltre with the batter's box and home plate. So I'm sure it is some sort of swing or, you know, home run swing or something like that, I would imagine.
Hilarious if it was him just like dragging the warm-up circle closer to the batter's box. I forgot, that was like 10 years ago. Remember that? Do you remember that where like the umpire was just like, you need to like go back to the batter or to the warm-up circle and everything, and he just drags it closer to where he was standing.
That would be very funny.
I would love that. Or him just throwing his helmet at Elvis Andrus after touching his head.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah.
He is one of, I'm as an Astros fan, Rangers, whatever. But, I lived in Dallas for a year and a half or so, and I went to my very fair share of Rangers games at the ballpark in Arlington, and he was such a joy to watch. He is an incredible, he's in the Hall of Fame for a reason, and he was so much fun to watch. He was just an absolute powerhouse, and thrilled to see that they go into the Hall of Fame. Thrilled to see them get a statue. Yeah, he was a pretty good player. So yeah.
And someone who, the thing on Beltre is he didn't really kick it into gear until he was in his 30s. He was a late bloomer.
Yeah, gives us hope for the rest of us, right?
Well,
maybe not.
We're both past that though.
Yeah.
We're both past the 30s.
Shush.
Right. But Beltre was outstanding. Yes. Great hitter. Good fielder too. Very good fielder.
Yeah.
And, one of the better all around third basemen of all time. If I had to rank like all around third baseman, Mike Schmidt would be number one. It's kind of maybe Beltre second. It might be Beltre second.
Wow.
Scott Rowland is up there. He's in the top 5 of all around third base, all around, like hitting and fielding, equally kind of a thing, right? Because like if you're talking like fielding, well, it's Brooks Robinson and then Mike Schmidt. If you're talking hitting, it's Mike Schmidt and then Eddie Matthews and Adrian Beltre. But I think Beltre is like right up there as one of the greatest 3 to 5 third basemen of all time. I mean, Alex Rodriguez played third base for a long period of time too, and I'd put him up there. Scott Rowland, obviously, who was just put in the Hall of Fame. I think Beltre was 2 years ago because Rowland was last year.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it is. Who else? Chipper Jones. I'm never a huge fan of Chipper Jones, because he's a Brave and I'm a Phillies fan, right? But Chipper was a great player.
If I can give Beltre his flowers, you can give Chipper Jones his flowers. Come on.
Absolutely. No, he's up there, top 5 to 7 of all time at third base. So yeah, Beltre's right there. I mean, and totally deserving of the statue. I think any player who makes a Hall of Fame should, be considered for a statue for their team. I don't know if every player who gets in the Hall of Fame should get a statue, because that's a lot of statues to have.
Well, yeah.
And, you don't want to necessarily
real estate you can put them on.
And you don't want to over statue it up.
Yeah.
Like there's like a good amount of statues you should have around a ballpark. Like if you have more than, I would say, like 5 or 6, it feels like you're just like, you lessen the value of every other statue when you have that many. But having like 4 or 5 is like a really nice number. Like you have one maybe like, at home at the left entrance, third base entrance. You have one in the outfield. You have one in the right entrance.
One for each base. Or just do something like what
have a diamond.
Why can I think of it? What they have it at Yankee Stadium? What is it called?
Monument Park.
Yeah, just do something like that because that doesn't. I mean, it takes up a decent amount of space, but it's not huge. It's just a bunch of numbers and plaques. I don't know if you saw when the Astros were there recently. Someone saw the number 27 and they put like a fake plaque for Altuve as being the owners of the Yankees.
Yes.
It's just like, well done, very well done. I love that.
We should do it. We should do a special episode at some point on statues and our favorite statues. There are a lot of great statues in Major League Baseball.
There's a lot of bad ones too. Oh my god.
Well, yeah, you saw the Harry Carey one recently.
It's great idea. Yeah. Horrible execution. Just a little.
Yeah. But I still think like my favorite probably still are the ones probably in Detroit in the outfield.
Okay.
Where you have like Al Kaline and Hal Newhouser and the Ty Cobb, like those statues around the outfield and center field area, and they're really cool. They're just really cool statues out there. But yeah, we'll do the statue thing at some point for sure.
Yeah. Fine.
Okay, well that's the ballpark news for this week. We will come back in just a few moments here on Take Me Out to talk about our visits to Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas, and T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington. Stay with us here on Take Me Out. Welcome back to Take Me Out. Tim here. Alex is there. Hello. This episode, we are going to just kind of talk about what we did recently, what we did on our summer vacation, and we'll go into like what that all entailed. But I went to Globe Life Field in Arlington, went to DFW for a weekend with my family. You went, Alex, to You went, Alex, to T-Mobile Park in Seattle, but you weren't just there for a ball game. You were there for so much more.
Oh, yeah.
I think we could, if you want to talk about that weekend, but we're going to get into our trips and we're going to talk, spend most of that time talking about the ballparks and what we saw and the games and all that stuff. But yeah, why don't you just start off with your trip? Because you took like a 4 to 5 day sojourn, correctly?
A 5-day trip. Yeah. My main goal there, my friends and I we went to see Lady Gaga at Climate Pledge Arena Wednesday.
Which is hold on. Climate Pledge Arena what is that? Is that the old Key Arena? Like what is that?
I don't know what the original name was, but that's where the Seattle WNBA team plays and where the Kraken play. So it's actually it's under the shadow of the Space Needle. Really cool location. You walk out.
So I don't keep up with arenas as much as I do like ballparks.
It's
I don't know if that
arena though. Yeah, I really enjoy it.
I don't know if that's the old Key Arena that is renamed in whatever, or if it's a new. I don't know.
It's possibly. I know they recently, over a few years ago, they did a major renovation of it. Which so I'm pretty sure
that was probably Key Arena then, because that's where the Seattle SuperSonics played, and now it's the Storm, the Seattle Storm.
Yes, that's it.
And the Kraken. I totally forgot. See, I don't really follow NHL anymore,
right?
And so you said Kraken, I was like, oh yeah, they have a hockey team.
Yeah,
I didn't. By the way, last year I did not realize. I was watching TV one day, or I was at a bar one day, and there was a TV on, and they were doing an NHL start of the season thing, and they were in Utah for the Utah team first game. And I was like, "There's a team in Utah! What is happening with this league?"
It's a big deal in this country. I'd love for Houston to get a hockey team back. I know we had the Arrows, but I know the Stars want a rivalry.
What I always heard was that hockey, the U.S. is kind of hot and cold on it because they expanded back in the 90s to all the southern cities, and they haven't really been huge,
I mean, the Panthers just won the Stanley Cup, didn't they?
Yeah, they win, but the fan bases aren't enormous or anything,
right? I mean, football is always going to be king. I think baseball very close second.
To me, it was always the NHL should be contracting and having fewer teams.
Yeah.
Apparently. Let's expand to Seattle.
Yeah.
Let's have a team in Salt Lake City, Utah. I don't know.
I mean, Seattle makes sense because they're right there by Canada. In Canada, it's
and Salt Lake makes colder places that have a tradition of hockey.
You think
college hockey teams and stuff like that.
You don't associate ice with Florida. You don't associate ice with Vegas. So I don't know.
Right.
But but no, we had a fantastic time. And then Thursday night, I went by myself to TV on the radio and LCD sound system, which was another incredible.
Oh my God, I was so jealous. You saw LCD sound system.
So cool. That was my first time. It was great. It was at this place called Remlinger Farms, about an hour outside of Seattle. It's not a small family owned farm, but like it's a huge place, and it's kind of like in the hills up there. You're surrounded by all these gorgeous trees. It smells incredible. The air is clear. You can breathe, and it was weird because they went on stage. Kind of the sun was still up, and you just look up, and James Murphy's is at the microphone. He's like, "Hello," and I'm like, "Hi, James. I've loved you for a long time." But it was an incredible show, and played a great set, closed with all my friends, and the drop when they played Dance Yourself Clean, everyone's jumping up and down. I was already starting to not feel great, but that's a whole nother podcast episode. So Tuesday night, my friend Victor and I went to the Mariners White Sox game. I was cheering for the White Sox, not loudly, obviously, because I know where I was. But and there was actually some White Sox fans in front of us, and I was like, "Oh yeah, y'all beat us in 2005." But we had a great time. Mariners won, and that was actually their Hall of Fame week when they were celebrating Ichiro's Hall of Fame induction, which is where I got this shirt that I'm wearing. Hey, friends, if you follow us on YouTube, you can see my shirt. So they're doing a giveaway for the entire series. The first 10,000 fans would get an Ichiro Funko Pop, not a bobblehead, a Funko Pop. We were obviously not one of the first 10,000 fans because there were a lot of people there. And I wanted to get them to commemorate that because, he's a fantastic player. And, my thing is whenever I go to a ballpark for the first time, I get a hat. I've already been to T-Mobile Park, so I did not get a hat. I ended up getting this shirt. So it's a Hall of Fame shirt. It's got the Hall of Fame logo. And on the back, it's the Ichiro.
Yeah, there it is.
So what's great is it doesn't say anything about the Mariners, but So there's no Mariners logo. It's just a shirt just for him. So that's what I got. And I was T-Mobile's going to be always probably one of my top 5 parks I've been to. And
you've been there before.
I've been there. I think I was there in 2016, I think.
Okay, so
I was there when it was Safeco. But it still holds up. It is still a fantastic park. We sat in the club level, which is wonderful, except for one part. I remember I was going down to my seat for the first time, and the stairs are kind of strange there. So you've got, instead of just like the normal size stairs, you have like this half steps. And I was about 2 rows down, like going down to our seat. We're like 5 rows up, and I was paying attention to where I was going, but I wasn't paying attention to where I was putting my foot. And I was kind of on the edge, and my foot rolled off. And I almost landed in this girl's lap. And I caught myself, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I don't know, that really hurt." And I thought I rolled my ankle. I thought I broke my foot. And I'm standing there. I'm in my 40s. You're old when you have to when people stop laughing when you fall. And I was just I started putting weight in it. I'm like, am I okay? And I put weight in, it was fine. It was just a little scary, but fantastic view. I had a view of their great screen there. And I was very impressed with their non-alcoholic beer selection. They had the Athletic Run Wild, their IPA. They also had the Michelob Zero, which whatever. But they also had the non-alcoholic Blue Moon. And so I had a couple of those.
Yes, yeah.
I located quite a few spots. I went to those little Amazon stores, and then they also had a little Blue Moon bar. And I I brought my phone with me when I went to get another one at the little Blue Moon bar, but I left everything else back up at my seat, and I got carded. And I was like, "Oh, it's a non-alcoholic." I left my ID up there. The girl looks at me. She's like, "When were you born?" And I told her my birthday. She's like, "Yeah, you're fine." She could tell I was over 21, and I was just like,
for a non-alcoholic beer?
There is trace amounts of alcohol, so I understand, and I'm sure it's just part of her job.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, but it was just kind of I got carded. It's been about 4 years since I've been carded. It's great. I was very impressed with it. And it's a fantastic park, and I had the grasshoppers.
Yes.
Yeah.
You texted me. I saw the picture.
I took a little video. And my friends took a video of it and everything. And we were sitting in the left field. So we were actually really close to Edgar's Cantina, which is where the grasshoppers are sold.
It's still Edgar's. Yeah, because I wasn't sure if they renamed it or not. But it's still Edgar's Cantina and still in the left field area, right downstairs.
Exactly.
Is it right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we were close. Our seats were close to the stairs. So it was just a quick 5-minute walk to get down there, and easily accessible. And when I was on my way down there, or actually after I picked up the grasshoppers, I was like, I'm going to get something else just in case I don't like this. And so I got me some garlic fries.
Yep, I saw that.
Yeah, it was, the fries are amazing. The grasshoppers, they weren't bad. I was it was a little, I felt not squeamish, but like even just like picking one up because I don't like bugs. And even though they're dead, they're not moving. It was just like picking one up. I was like, oh God, here we go. And then they weren't bad. They tasted like
No, they're great. Yeah.
crunchy sunflower seeds that have a bit more seasoning. And
did you put tagine on them?
No, I did not. I kind of wanted to try them by themselves. I mean, I actually ate one with a garlic fry, and that actually helped a little bit with the experience. But not sure if I would do it again. I had about 4 of them. It's still a mental thing. You got to get past that mental block that you're eating a bug.
Yeah.
But it's I mean, and the girl that was like that sold one to me. You know, I was like, I'm kind of nervous about trying, and she said that she had a customer a few weeks ago who came back and like kept ordering them. And he had like four of those little cups of them, and I was like, "Go you!" Good for you.
That would have been me, honestly.
Yeah. Like, oh my God.
I will eat anything. I'll try anything once. You're like, oh, this is really nice and crunchy, and it's a nice little snack.
Yeah.
And they're, I'm sure, like not bad for you, like packed with protein.
Yeah, sure.
Probably.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, like tagine seasoning, it's basically like a chili lime seasoning, right? Like,
right.
And you sprinkle it all over. Like it's used in a lot of Mexican dishes and things like that.
On the rim of a drink, whatever. Yeah, it's just extra.
Yeah, rim of a margarita or whatever drink you want. Topo Chico, yeah, very, very refreshing. That's great. So the grasshoppers are good. The garlic fries are good. Mm-hmm. You did not get any like clam chowder or any seafood or anything like that?
I did not. No.
Because I don't know if they still have. They had when I was there, they had like clam chowder out in center field.
Okay.
And I procured a bread bowl of. No, maybe it was just a bowl of clam. It was like a cup. I got a bread bowl of chowder in San Francisco, and that was
okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they had very. T-Mobile has arguably top 3 to 5 in baseball food and drink offerings.
Yeah.
I mean, food by itself is like top 3 to 5, and the drinks by themselves are probably top 3 to 5. Really great ballpark for food and drink. Really great
is.
Ballpark.
And one of the things I realized, I didn't notice this the first time I was there, but T-Mobile, I think from what my friend Victor was telling me, is they're known for their in-game entertainment, and they have top-notch between innings entertainment. The one that sticks out, they did like a dance-off where they had a split screen. They had like this young guy, it was like a dance-off. So they had a young guy on one side of the screen. He had one of those broccoli top hairdos that I'm just like, okay, whatever. And then the other half was this like older lady, I would say probably 70s. And it was like a dance-off between them. And she really wasn't into it. He's kind of going crazy, doing like some TikTok stuff. And she's not really into it. She kind of got shy at a couple points. And, the in-house entertainment, they're just like, let's pick the old lady. It's like, go for her. She had fun, it looks like. And so they picked her, but they still kept the camera on the guy. And he was upset, but like, kind of like, oh, yeah. And he shoots up the double birds, and they just don't cut away. And I'm like, and like everyone was kind of like, they should cut away from that, because he was doing it for a full 5 seconds, and I'm like, there's nobody in the in-house thing watching that. Like, I was like, I'm glad that lady won, because that was, oh my God, come on, dude, really?
Gen Z, bro,
yeah, like
Gen Z. What are they doing out there?
I don't know. Yeah, it was. I mean, other than possibly catching COVID there, it was I would say 10 out of 10 experience. 9.5 if that's where I caught COVID.
9.5. That's great.
Yeah, it's still gonna be up there for one of my favorite parks.
And real quick, Seattle itself, like outside of the ballpark, just as a city. I mean, one of my favorite cities that I've been to.
I love Seattle. There was one of those preachers out there telling us that we're all going to hell and everything, which I'm like, you're telling us we're all sinners, we're all going to hell. I'm like, oh, that makes me really want to join. Seattle was fantastic. During the day, my friends and I took the ferry to Bainbridge Island, and I'm about, which is fantastic. That's where they had those, one of the trolls there. I can't think of the name of the artist. Starts with a T, his last name.
Yeah, he's got trolls all over the country, including a couple in Texas, I believe.
Really?
At least 1 or 2 in Texas.
Okay,
there's
cool.
Austin area, I believe there's one.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. But yeah, we took the ferry up there. It's absolutely gorgeous area up there. It just smells like you're not in the wild or wilderness, but it just smells like you're in nature. It's just
fresh air. It's
very, very fresh. And
fresh,
I did see a sign. I did not know this. And this is going to be the most Caucasian thing to come out of my mouth. That is where pickleball was invented in 1965 on Bainbridge Island.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
But yeah, it was a fantastic trip all around, except for the very end when I was sick. But
I just remember when I was in Seattle last, just spending probably 6 hours in the morning just drinking as much coffee as I possibly could.
Yeah.
And then in the afternoon, like trying to find like raw salmon to purchase and eat. Just like raw, like smoke, well, not raw, smoked salmon that I like purchased at like a nearby like restaurant, deli kind of a thing by the water, and just like ate that
at Pike
from the
Place.
bag.
At Pike Place, there was
Pike Place Market is great.
Yeah, it's very touristy, but it's still so cool. Like
it's worth it to go through one.
Yeah,
sure.
On my personal Instagram, let me see if I can pull up the picture for my reference really fast. There's I did this kind of a overall fun stuff of Seattle, not just Lady Gaga or anything, but like the first picture, they have like a shrimp cocktail. They had smoked salmon on a stick. They had Alaskan snow crabs for $32 a pound, shrimp bites, smoked salmon dip, ahi poke, house-made ceviche. It's just, I'm going to show this to you, but it's just, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, whatever. But like
it's bright, but I've seen your Insta. So
it's just, I wanted to buy one of everything in that little stand and just go get some saltines and just have a good day with it.
Honestly, like I would walk around Seattle with saltines and like crab dip. all day.
I
totally would.
I was upset because not upset, but I was kind of sad. I went 2 days in a row, one by myself, and then I went back the next day with my friends because there was a stand they wanted to go to that I mentioned. It was like seasoning salt, and I loved the name of the business called the Salty Bitch, and I loved it. They just had it was like these pink bags, and they had like hundreds of different kinds of flavors of seasoning salts. And they weren't there the next day. I went with my friends and they were upset too, but we were looking all over for it. But in Pike Place, again, as touristy as it is, you can find some really good things. There was a stand that had hundreds of different kinds of pastas, like flavored pastas, and they had them all cooked so you can try them without any sauce on them to see what they tasted like. There was and like they were selling a bunch of different kind of olive oils there too. Like one of them was like a blood orange chocolate olive oil. Oh my god. Yeah. Pike Place, again, as touristy as it is, it's still fantastic. There's a reason it's so popular. It's stood the test of time. You can also go and see hundreds of people in line to go get a cup of coffee from the original Starbucks.
Oh yeah. I did I go into the original Starbucks? I may have actually.
I walked by and I glanced inside. Yeah. Oh, good for you. But there's. They had tour groups there. Like the tour group had the giant flag of like, "Here, I'm over here," and I was like, "It's the original, but it's just Starbucks. You're in Seattle."
But it's right across the street from Pike's Place Market, right?
Yes.
It's right. It's right there. So yeah.
And it was interesting because we drove by quite a few times the Starbucks headquarters here, which is like this pretty gorgeous old red brick building. You would think the Starbucks headquarters would be really nice, massive like skyscraper, but it's a nice looking building.
Is that the one with the big downstairs like bar?
The roastery?
Starbucks? Yeah, the roastery.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
We did not get to go. We talked about it, but we didn't get to go. But it's it's a gorgeous building. It really is.
Yeah, it's cool. It is very cool. Yeah, and some of the streets in Seattle, the hills, you kind of walk up a little bit.
We did a lot of walking.
Yeah, it's a good walking city. It's a really fun city.
Yeah, I do too.
Well. Then there's a DFW area, Alex.
Yeah.
Look, no. I'm not bad. I'm not like I have fun. We have fun.
Yeah.
So we went. So my kids started school this week, and right before school started, my wife and I were like, "Hey, why don't we do something with the kids with the last weekend before school? Take them somewhere, if possible, a hotel with a outdoor pool, just to like go somewhere where they can like feel like they're on a small vacation." And she was looking at a couple, like, I don't know, maybe this, maybe that. I don't know. And then I was like, wait a second, what this weekend it's the weekend the Phillies are in Arlington to play the Rangers.
Hey.
So I was like, well, why don't we just go up to DFW? Let's go get a hotel Friday night in the DFW area because I'm off Friday, Saturday. We'll go to the game Friday night. We'll stay at the hotel over into Saturday, and then we'll come back Saturday. And she's absolutely, let's do that. So we booked the Lowe's Dallas in downtown Dallas, it's a Lowe's hotel, a very nice hotel. Not Lowe's, I didn't say it. It's Omni, the Omni Dallas. I don't know why I kept doing that. I kept saying Lowe's when I meant Omni because Lowe's has a bunch of hotels around the ballpark.
Okay,
but the Omni is the one that is downtown in Dallas. Okay,
that's a good one. That's a good hotel.
So we stayed at the Omni in Dallas, and it has, we stayed at the 15th floor, the top floor of the one tower.
Mm-hmm.
And the pool is on the 4th floor between the two towers. And so we got into DFW. We drove out Friday morning-ish. We got there Friday afternoon. And before we went to the hotel, we went to probably my favorite brewery. It's a top 3 brewery in Texas for me now. Manhattan Project Beer Company.
Oh,
have you heard of Manhattan Project?
Yes, I have. We carried those at Haymerchant.
Yeah,
I'm struggling to name any of their beers.
I think they sell in Texas at like HEBs in the supermarkets. So we got there Friday afternoon, and it was, like decent crowd, but not, it's a Friday afternoon crowd. And man, oh man, it's a really sweet looking, modern looking brewery. It doesn't look like it's not like an industrial warehouse. It's not a garage. It's like sleek. It's millennial. It's like very cool, like very adult, like nice brewery, nice tap room. They have a full menu. They have fried chicken. We got like fried chicken, like Thai fried chicken. It was really good. The girls got like a really nice like rice and veggie bowl that they really enjoyed with steak. Like really good food at this place.
Nice.
Good the fries were incredible. Like a friend said to us, like, get the fries. We got the fries. They were some of the best fries we ever had, bar none.
Mm.
And the beer was really good. They have, your typical like variety of things, a hazy, an IPA, lagers, all that stuff. We had a couple beers each, and it was really great.
Mm-hmm.
Really great brewery. Then we went to the hotel, and we got to the hotel around like 3-ish. We had a couple hours before the game to like hang out and go to the pool. And it was a Friday afternoon around 3-4 o'clock at the Omni. And so it was a lot of 20 and 30 somethings double fisting in the pool and having conversations and like holding each other and like, getting kissy. It wasn't packed. So we had our space.
Mm-hmm.
And, so it was a little weird, but like we had our space, we were fine. And the girls had a nice time in the pool, and it was totally fine.
Good.
It's an infinity pool. They enjoyed that part of it.
Oh yeah.
So we did the pool for a little bit, and then I left early to get on a lift to go to the ballpark to do some research. And then my wife and the kids, a little bit later left the pool and then got dressed and came to the ballpark as well. They drove. So Globe Life, I'm not going to do a whole thing because there will be a special episode of Take Me Out that we do for the Patreon,
Mm-hmm.
but Globe Life I've been to a couple times now. I went the first time in 21, one of the first ballparks I went to after COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not after COVID, but after COVID stopped everything. Globe Life was like the first ballpark to be like, you can all come into the ballpark. Who cares? Like the way that the Rangers and their ownership has like basically like treated human lives over the past couple of years has really annoyed the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Not a big fan. The one team that doesn't actually like recognize a Pride Night at all, like just
didn't I think the Orioles like they played with the Orioles, and the Orioles always I think host Pride Night whenever they have the Rangers there.
Whenever the Rangers
are
there.
I'm like, good for you. Love that.
Good for them. Anyways, the Rangers are the Rangers, and so you got to, you just deal with it, whatever. But so I've been there 21. I went back again 23 after the Phillies were there to start the 23 season. So I went to see them. And this year was my third time at the ballpark. And so I felt like now I get like a really good sense of what this ballpark is like. The first time I went, it was only its first year of use, and COVID had happened, and they had to, change. They had to do different things because they hosted playoff games and the World Series in 2020 because that's the COVID World Series.
Yeah.
So it was a very weird like opening for them. So I didn't really judge them too much on 21. 23, I was a little bit more judicious, kind of seeing like what changed, what was new, and seeing if they really made improvements or whatever. Now I feel like they've settled in. It's been 5 years of the ballpark, 4 years like total with fans. And so I wanted to really get a sense. And I will tell you, it is not one of the best ballparks in baseball.
No, it's not.
It is absolutely, of the 30 ballparks in Major League Baseball, in the bottom.
Yeah. It is one of the baseball parks of all time.
It is, and it is very baseball park. It is very like create a park. It's like when you had MVP Baseball 2005 and you could create a ballpark, and it was like domed stadium.
Yeah.
Basically what Globe Life is. Yeah. It is retractable roof stadium A.
It's just ugly from the outside. It really
okay, so
I'm sorry.
So, and we'll get into the whole thing, but I went to Texas Live which is so around the ballpark. There's not really a lot of entertainment options. You have AT&T Stadium nearby. You have a couple of hotels. Lowe's has 2 hotels near the ballpark, and then it's really just a bunch of parking lots and sidewalks, and there's actually walking trails and things that are around the area there. Six Flags Over Texas is down northeast of the ballpark. Choctaw Stadium, which is the old Rangers Park, the old ballpark in Arlington, is across the street, and now it is a college baseball field, I believe, as well as like a venue for other things.
And I think they do like rugby there as well, and just other
something like that. I mean, but anyways, so there's not a lot around it to do outside of the ballpark, and then there's Texas Live, which is the Cordish Company's their entertainment center that has several different restaurants and bars where you can walk in, you can just go in and out of different places.
Same beer at all of them.
Yeah, same beer at all of them, all AB and Bev, Budweiser products, things like that. I talked to a couple fans when I was there, some Phillies fans, just to kind of get, where you're from. Some were from Texas, some were from Oklahoma. They were driving in, excited to see the Phillies, whatever. I had a couple good conversations. I had the only beer that I really will drink at the ballpark, because it's probably the best one that you could find regularly at the ballpark there, is Carbach Hopadillo, which I'm not a big Carbach person, but they're also AB and Bev, so I don't try to give money to the macros as much as possible. But Hopadillo is a pretty decent beer for what they do, so I will take it. So I would have that. I think I had a Blue Moon when I was at the Texas Live, which is funny that you had the non-alcoholic Blue Moon. I had a regular Blue Moon, and I was like, I could probably just drink this non-alcoholic and be fine. So, did Texas Live for a little bit, then walked over to the ballpark and started researching, walking around the ballpark, taking sort of inventory, getting a sense of what it looked like and seeing what changed and what upgraded. Not a lot has changed over the past couple of years of that ballpark. Very few has been added. In fact, it's hard for me to actually say out loud what has been added to the ballpark from a couple of years ago. The food vendors are primarily just very basic, create a ballpark food vendors, kind of the food vendors that you would see at a AA, AAA minor league park with stupid names Abner Double Dogs and I forget, there was a burger one.
They've got the boomstick, right?
Well, they got the boomstick. Yeah, the boomstick is the enormous hot dog thing that's 5 feet long or something like that.
Yeah,
2.5 feet long, whatever it is. That's the only kind of kitschy thing that they do. But they have a Tex-Mex stand. It's Tex-Mex taqueria. I don't know what they call it exactly, but they just serve nachos there. They serve, it's nachos and a Frito pie, right? But they don't call it a Frito pie. It's nachos. It's Fritos topped with queso kind of a thing, right? They call it a Frito. It's not a Frito pie.
Bastardized Frito pie.
When I went, if I'm in Texas and there are good Tex-Mex restaurants in the DFW area, very famous ones even at that. But if I want Tex-Mex and I'm in Texas, I want at least some tacos or an enchilada option or a fajita option, something like that. It's hard to find those things. You can't find them. It's nachos, it's hot dogs, it's pretzels, it's burgers. I mean, that's what it's basic stuff. There are a couple. I mean, there's a Whataburger inside the ballpark, which is interesting. However, I'm not going to pay $15 for a double patty.
No,
it's just not happening.
You can go down the street and get one for the regular price.
They have lobster mac and cheese. There's a lobster mac stand, with lobster rolls and lobster mac and cheese, but I'm in the interior of Texas. I don't want lobster.
No, you don't.
When I'm in Dallas, Fort Worth. If I was in Boston at Fenway Park, I'll take a lobster roll. Sure. Absolutely. I don't want one in Arlington, Texas.
Going to Phoenix for sushi. Why would you do that? Or just someplace where you're nowhere near any water. No.
I mean, DFW, Arlington too, has a really good Middle Eastern food scene. There's Lebanese and really good Middle Eastern, and there's none of that at the ballpark. They don't do you can't find real local, these are local proprietors, local restaurateurs who have their own thing here and they're trying something, and none of that. There's one Thai Chinese bowl kind of place that I think is kind of localish, but that's about it. And then you have your Whataburger and everything. And there's a Golden Chick, right? Golden Chick is very Texas chicken finger, chicken wing. Fast food joint. So it's just blah, right? So there's not a lot there. I was, disappointed with the ballpark in general. But that said, my kids had a great time. We got to our seats. We sat like right field, first baseline, second level, like 6th row up. So really good view, good seats. You could see everything, and not too expensive. And I mean, it was a great. I mean, the Phillies kicked their butts. It was, I think 9-1, 9-2, something like that. They won. Good pitching, good hitting. They hit a bunch of home runs. Kyle Schwarber hit a home run in the first inning that hit the foul pole. It was like a screamer. Like, it just had a really good time. And we were loud and annoying and fun. The girls loved it. We got hot dogs for dinner. My wife just like found hot dogs. It was like, I'm just going to get hot dogs. And then
just
around the 6th inning.
Game. Yeah. Oh, at the ballpark. Okay. I don't know what
at the ballpark.
The game. Okay.
No. And in the 6th inning or so, my wife was like, hey, the girls want ice cream. I was like, all right, I'll take them for ice cream. And I had a hell of a time trying to find ice cream for the girls. Like, I walked around. Yeah, we were in the upper level. I walked around and I was like trying to find an ice cream stand. I couldn't find it. So then we went downstairs and I walked around and I couldn't find it. And finally, somewhere in right field, I found ice cream in a helmet cup kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And, they got their mint chocolate chip or whatever. And they enjoyed it. It was great. And then, so we went back up. I probably missed like a good full inning because of the ice cream thing. Well, whatever. And then after the game was over, we left and we walked out the other way, and there was ice cream like 25 feet away. So it was like right there. It was like in the other direction, and I just missed it. But so that was annoying. But they do have, the Rangers, they do have the dot game, which they've had for decades upon decades.
Yeah.
Which is basically, colored dots race the warning track.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be just on video, but now they have color dots who race the warning track like all the other race games are. And you get like one of the interesting different things about Globe Life is in home plate on the concourse level, you get to look in the PA announcer. His office is right there at home plate. And there's glass windows looking into it. I mean, he's got the best office I've ever seen in my life. It is the cool, like, it's a big office with a desk and chairs and like tables and bookshelves and all this baseball stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
And his view is just the windows out to the ballpark. It's really cool. I'm like, why can't I get that job? That's not fair. So there's like, there's a couple things about the ballpark that are like, okay, you can see this, you can see that, you can do that. And there's a kids level upstairs or a kids zone upstairs with like a fake ballpark and that kind of stuff. We didn't do that because my girls sat and enjoyed the whole game without
We're
like,
baseball
twitching.
Girls. Love that.
Yeah, they're baseball girls. My girls want to watch the baseball game. So we had a great time. It was a lot of fun. The next day, so we went back to the hotel. We went to sleep. The next day, we woke up, went back to the hotel pool, and there was more kids there. We stayed there for a couple hours, had a really nice time. And then we left the hotel and drove. And I was like, I want to find barbecue. I want to get good barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
So the big, in DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth area, the two biggest sort of barbecue places are Goldie's and Panther City Barbecue. Okay. Panther City is kind of more of like a truck situation, whereas Goldie's is an actual like sit-in place. The line for Goldie's is like 3 hours at any time.
Ooh, okay.
I was not going to Goldie's is one of the best barbecue places in the country, bar none. Okay. But I was not going there if we were gonna have to wait, that long for it. No. I like the most barbecue with my kids is like a half an hour, probably. Mm-hmm. So I looked up a couple other places, and so Texas Monthly, great magazine. They have a barbecue editor who every 4 years says, these are the top 50 barbecue places in Texas. It is very serious. It is a super serious, a lot of research, a lot of planning, a lot of tasting goes into it. It's a really well done thing. And it is very important. And every barbecue person in Texas, tries to get on the list. It is very important. It means everything if you're on that list.
Oh, it's
really legit. It's super legit. So I went to the list and I was like, all right, what other barbecue places around us in Dallas could I potentially go to that are on the top 50? And so there were really two. And the one that I picked was Slow Bone Barbecue, which is a smaller place, is a little bit more sort of mom and poppy, but had like several tables inside, some tables outside, no line. Walked in at noon on Saturday and there was no line whatsoever.
Whoa, okay.
We were right up to the counter. The line got there about 20 minutes later. There were a couple more people that kind of came in and had to wait, but it wasn't long at all. It was like 10 minutes maybe at most for them. So we got right in there right away. We got brisket, we got pork ribs, we got sausage. And then we got a couple sides. They do.
Give me pulled pork. I love pulled pork. That's my favorite.
No, not we didn't. Yeah, no pulled pork. But we did. Yeah, brisket, sausage, 2 ways, and pork ribs. And then sides, they do roasted squash. They do squash casserole. Really good.
Okay.
Baked beans, like Texas, stewed baked beans. And there were mac and cheese, really good mac and cheese that had like chili peppers in it. Really nice, like spicy mac and cheese. Very good. Really good. Slow Bone is really good. I like you can't like that's a place where like if you don't want to do the lines at Goldie's and stuff like that, and you want like really top quality barbecue that is going to fill you up and be good, Slow Bone is a great choice. So we went there and we got just exactly the right amount of food, and we like finished it all, and it was perfect, and the girls loved it.
Yeah.
And then we got back on the road and came home, and it was a great trip. It was a really fun trip, just a little bit of a like getaway, and we did like the best stuff of DFW that we could pack in about 24 hours. Really fun.
That's fun. Good for you. That sounds like a lot of fun. That's like my first time I went to Globe Life. I actually went in 2022, and it was Labor Day weekend, and it was the Astros there, and it was a very last second decision. I had gotten off work, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Dallas, and I'm gonna go to the game, and like I drove up after work, and so I got to my hotel, which was about a mile away from the ballpark. It was like extended stay or one of those kind of hotels, and sure. I ended up walking back to the hotel after the game, but I drove up after work, and I got a nice ticket, or a pretty good ticket, and went to the game the next day, and then drove back. But yeah, it's nice having an in-state rivalry, just quick 4-hour drive up the road. I would say quick 4 hours. I mean, 4 hours isn't quick in any other part of the country, but in Texas, I mean, that's just what it is. Yeah.
I mean, Globe Life is a place where I'll probably go there every 2 years when the Phillies are visiting.
It's not really a destination kind of a trip. But,
but it's nice. Like I like to go and like I'll spend a night, hang out, like try barbecue, do like there's enough to do to where I feel like, oh, this is a nice little side vacation for like a weekend kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, DFW, yes, it could be better. Honestly, it could be a better area to like vacation in. Yeah. Fort Worth is a better city to hang out in.
Fort Worth is cool. Get the stockyards.
Yeah, well, the Stockyards is a whole thing.
It is.
But Fort Worth is a good little city. Arlington, actually, the downtown is there's some really nice like good breweries, and like Hurtado Barbecue is really good in Arlington. That's another good one. There's a good Division Brewing is really good there. A couple good places, but it's like a nice like side trip for Texans for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, those are fun trips. We enjoyed ourselves, and we hope you enjoyed yourself listening to us talk about those trips. And we are going to get into more of DFW, especially on our Patreon. We'll talk about it in just a second, how we're going to do that. Stay with us here on Take Me Out.
Hey guys, you can follow Take Me Out on Facebook. We're at facebook.com/TakeMeOutPod. We're also on Instagram at Take Me Out Pod, and you can see us on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. YouTube.com/TakeMeOutPod. Give us a like, comment, subscribe. Speaking of like, comments, and subscribe, go ahead and do it on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on right now. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, I believe you said we're on as well, maybe? Is that right?
All of them.
All of them. Why not? 5-star like, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your coworkers, tell that dude that you sit next to on the bus every day. It's all good. Follow us. Tell your friends, and we're also on Patreon, patreon.com/TakeMeOut. Take out the pod. Just take me out. And we got 2 levels. Tell them about the 2 levels on Patreon.
2 levels are the Loge at $3 a month and the Field at $5 a month. Either of those tiers will get you special content that we put together for the Patreon. What we have so far are a ballpark review of Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia and a city guide to Philadelphia. We will be very shortly adding to that a ballpark review of Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. If you liked what I said about it recently, there's more of that where that comes from. But that'll be on the Patreon for both tiers, both the Loge and the Field tiers. And then as we go forward, if you sign up for the Patreon, you will not only get those things, but depending on your tier, you will also get special stuff from me. We will get signed copies of Baseball Road Trips. You will get some fun stuff that I'll try to put together as a creative mind. I have all these ideas, and I really want to share them. So sign up for the Patreon. We're not trying to make a lot of money here, but just enough to kind of pay for the things. It does cost money to host the podcast somewhere. It does cost money to get equipment. It does cost money to have, advertising if we hope to do that at some point. So if you can help us out, we would really appreciate that. Patreon.com/TakeMeOut. $5 for the Field level, $3 for the Loge level, and benefits therein. That's right. Go to patreon.com/TakeMeOut. Back here on Take Me Out, final segment. So August 15th, which is the day that this comes out, so you may be listening to this after August 15th, but it is a red letter day. in music history and entertainment history, performance history. August 15th, 1965, 60 years ago to the day, is the day that four men who may be called the Beatles performed at Shea Stadium in New York City. Landmark concert. It's crazy. You could actually watch the whole concert on YouTube. You could find it. It is really crazy because you think of all the unbelievable stadium shows that, are happening these days. You saw Lady Gaga in an arena, but like stadium shows, whatever, like the stage setups are incredible. The way that they changed the venue for the artist is incredible. Here, the Beatles just had a very dinky stage that was on like the second base area, and they played on that stage, and the fans were in the seats at Shea Stadium, and they just went nuts, and you could barely see them, but it was amazing. I am a massive Beatles fan, like a massive Beatles fan. I know all the songs, and I'm even a big Beatles solo fan as well. I love all their solo work. So this is a cool day to think about for me. I watched the concert recently just to kind of like refresh myself. But it's insane. But it was kind of one of those first massive, because they had a whole stadium tour at that time. But it was one of those first concerts that really showed the potential of music on a larger stage, what it could look like in a stadium. And so I thought, why not we just ask the question? And I'll ask you this question. I'll give you my answer as well. What is the best stadium concert that you have ever attended? A concert that was at, if it's allowed here, if there are options, at an actual major league ballpark. What is the best concert you've been to at a major league ballpark?
I'm going to go with the only one I've ever been to at a ballpark, and it's going to tie it back to the very beginning. I saw Lady Gaga for the Chromatica Ball at Minute Maid Park in 2021. And I'm not just picking that because it was the only one I've been to. It was such an incredible concert. I got not last second, but this kind of nosebleed seats, like up in the 300s, 400s actually. And it was a fantastic time. The only drawback was that there was a column of speakers that blocked like the very center of the stage. So I kind of had to peer around it, it was fine. Everyone was moving, everyone was dancing. She sounded incredible. It was, from what I could see, the stage production was phenomenal. The only drawback was I kind of had to teach myself that I forgot, what was I? It was 2021. I was 37, I want to say. And I actually was better this time in Seattle, but like I was up there dancing, screaming, singing, emoting for about 2 hours. I had one of the worst headaches of my life afterwards. Waiting. And it was getting out of the area was a nightmare, because I remember same night Michael Bublé was playing at the Toyota Center a few blocks down. So Ubers back to my friend's place, which normally would have been $15-$20 were around to 80. So it was, we had to wait over at Neil's bar for about an hour for them to go down. And they finally got down to about $50, and we were like, let's just go. We have to go. But it was a great concert. I do remember later in that season, it was near the end of the season. I think Pitbull had played there recently as well. And it was a big deal because they had to pretty much redo the outfield turf, because those stages ripped up that turf, even though they had like the platforms that the stages were on. I remember going to games afterwards, and it's like, that outfield does not look good. And I remember it being a big deal then, because they redid it. But that was a fantastic concert. So Lady Gaga, Chromatica Ball 2021.
That ties it all together. It's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've been to 3 concerts at major league ballparks. I believe it's 3 in my life. The first one was way back in 1998 or something like that, or 2000, maybe it was 2000, somewhere in that like late 90s area. This is a lineup. The 3 people that I saw, this was at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. I was sitting like dead center field. It was hot. It was like middle of August. It was atrociously hot. And the vet, when it was hot, was really bad, really bad. I saw Santana.
Oh.
I don't know if it was featuring Rob Thomas, but it was Santana. I think this was like 99 2000, because Smooth was a thing.
Oh boy.
So Santana.
Did it stop being a thing, Tim?
The Roots. And the headliner, the reason I was really there, the Dave Matthews Band.
Okay, you lost me there a little bit.
That was my first one. One. Okay. I've actually Dave Matthews and or 311. I've seen the most of any artist in my life, which is more because I saw them more when I was younger, and like anytime they were around, like family. As a family, we went because we all liked those. Anyways,
yeah,
we were a weird family. I also went to see Bruce Springsteen at Citizens Bank Park in Philly a couple years back, and that was really cool. Although it was like Labor Day, and so he was like, "I'm gonna do songs about the worker tonight," and so it was a lot more mellow than I wanted like up tempo, like dance Bruce, but it was like mellow for the worker Bruce, and I was like, I'm not feeling this as much. Okay. It was still great. It was still great, but my favorite one of all time, I think, like 2007. Me and then my then girlfriend. She was living in the Boston area. I was in Connecticut. This was after college, I believe. We saw the Police on their reunion tour at Fenway Park.
Oh, and how rad.
Outside of the Beatles, the Police are my favorite band of all time.
Okay.
So it's like my favorite band basically in my favorite place to be, which is Fenway Park.
Yeah.
And we sat, I think, like left field, like third baseline, kind of somewhere around there. They sounded incredible. You know, they did the whole tour. You know, they've always had sort of like friction with each other, but they went through that whole tour and had a great time, and it went well. And you know, they did all the hits. It was terrific. I loved it. Like, I just seeing the Police live was like so cool because they broke up. They broke up when I was born. Like they weren't. I don't even think they were together anymore. When like they basically broke up after Synchronicity came out. So right around the time I was born, you were born. Like they were already done. So I never even. There was no point. And there was no way. Yeah. But they came back together for this and saw them at Fenway. It was great. But the one downside of that whole night was I parked my car. I picked up my girlfriend and then we went to Fenway. I parked the car at a nearby CVS parking lot because like Fenway is always like weird parking. It's hard to find parking lot. Yeah. So I parked at a CVS parking lot thinking like we'll be fine. And then we went to the concert, had a great time, came back and the car was gone.
Oh,
and
no.
It got towed away. So I called Lou Blum, whoever it was, you know, the towing people, and I had to get the car back the next morning or whatever. And I, of course, was like fighting with my then girlfriend about it all. And I'm sorry, Rachel. You know, I'm sorry for all the times that I argued with you. You know, you didn't deserve it. Whatever.
So I guess you could say
a little bit of a damper on.
CVS said to you, "Don't stand so close to me."
It's not bad.
Sorry, I was like trying to think of how to get that in there.
It's not bad. It's not bad. All right. Well, that ends this week's version of Take Me Out, edition of Take Me Out, this episode of Take Me Out. This is a lot of fun. I'm glad you were with us. Again, tell your friends about us. Tell people who are out there, you know, you'll recommend this to your friends who are trying to go to the ballpark. So this is the podcast for them. We'll be back next week. What are we going to talk about next week? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe just banter about some things. Tune in to find out. It'll be a lot of fun. Globe Life will come up pretty soon on the Patreon, patreon.com/takemeout. Go check that out. Until next week, thank you for listening. I'm Tim.
And I'm Alex. And it's baseball season.
See you later.